Good day, everybody. 13th of March, 2025. It's just before 3 o'clock. Temperature is, well, it's kind of warm, actually. I can almost go without a coat on altogether. I'm by, what is it? The metro station Kupaliska. Well, it depends on what language you use. I think it's Kastrishnitska in Belarus, Kupaliska, maybe in Russian, or Oktoberskaya. It's very strange. It's got three names. I never know what to call it. Anyway, let me tell you something. The ball is now in Russia's court. The ball is in Russia's court. That's the big news now. So, you know, the Russians are laughing their heads off. I told you guys about this yesterday, but I don't know. It's gotten to a real crescendo over here as far as humor for the most part. And of course, it's a little bit of concern as well, because if you see who's putting that on their tweets, what is it, Ursula von der Leyen? I don't know, you name it. I think Keir Starmer, all of them, virtually all of them. Very strange, you know? It's makes you wonder if the same person writes the same tweets for everybody, or is it just plagiarism? Are they big into plagiarism and all copy each other, you know? So the ball is now in Russia's court. I mean, come on. How original is that? It's pretty stupid if you ask me. See, there's actually some nice, some nice things on this everybody wants to see. Nice design on this building, kind of, you know, a lot of funny things. So, okay, well, let's keep on going. The ball is in Russia's court. I can't believe it. Yeah, they're laughing their heads off on all of these shows. And yeah, but you look at what's behind that. What is behind them saying that? And it's all just a big ploy. I don't know if Lindsey Graham said it. He probably said it too. I don't know. Did I say that yesterday? But he said that. Look at this. There's a German firm called Fielmann. So I don't know if that's what is it called? Feel-in. I don't know. But it's they're not really that expensive. They're not really that good. It's a firm I went to. I had glasses done there, and it's like, nah, not again. And anyway, let's go on the news here. So, Putin has been getting around lately. You know, he was just in the Kursk region, and it looks like it's just about ready to fall, supposedly within days. And Putin said some things that he's never said before, and I'll get around to that. I guess some place that just fell, I guess today, was a place. It's a place called Sudsa. Traditional clothing there from Belarus. You can look in a few windows here. Okay. And Sudsa. I guess it mostly fell today, and that's one of the major cities. I guess in the area that Ukraine was controlling, that is the major city there. Of course, the biggest city in the Kursk region is the city of Kursk, but Ukraine didn't get the entire region when they moved in before. But I said a lot about it yesterday anyway. They took up a lot of villages. But anyway, you saw Putin wearing camouflage. Hasn't done that for quite some time. And let's get a little bit closer. What's this guy doing here? Isn't that Steve Jobs? Look at that. Repairing of iPhones. So, let's keep going here. I haven't actually walked in this area. I think that's Prospect Nezavisy mostly. You know, about the busiest street in Minsk. And here I am walking on it, trying to talk to you guys, to talk over everything. Some dadushkas and babushkas here. An old couple. Stari mensch. Or stari ludi. Okay. Ooh, I shouldn't say that so loud. I'm not like that. So let me find a place to get a little out of the wind and look at more buildings where people that did something for humanity lived. I show this every time you walk around in Minsk. You can find these things all over the place. I don't know what this guy was doing. Looks like somebody. Looks like he has a pair of scissors down there. Maybe he invented scissors. I don't have any idea. Okay, you guys probably didn't see it. I got that thing there. Oh, there's some old lady over here. Maybe I can duck back in between the buildings here. Concentrate a little bit easier. There's not a bunch of cars and people running around. Okay. Yeah, but he said, what did he say? What did he say? he said he wanted that area, the Kursk region. He wanted it end. I mean, the operation in that area. He wanted that ended as soon as possible. And normally he never says anything about time. He never puts any time limits on anything. How long this is going to last? When are you going to finish this? And all that sort of thing. So that's different. So in other words, it's going to happen very, very soon. That was the whole part about that. He met with General Gerasimov, and I think that maybe I thought I mentioned it yesterday. Maybe I just wrote this. But in the past 5 days, Russia liberated 24 towns in 5 days. That's totally amazing. Ukraine has lost over 67,000 since the time they invaded Kursk. I guess maybe that was a couple of months ago. 67,000 soldiers there. Russia has now liberated 86% of that region. So they've taken back what Ukraine took. They took back 86% of it already. Not very good for what Zelensky was hoping he'd have some big victory to take it to the negotiating table, And then he had all those massive drone strikes against the Russians, and I guess it didn't work out that well. He damaged some buildings, and it didn't give him a good look, actually. I'll just say that. And remember, I talked a few days ago about the British. The Russians, I think mostly they were killed by bombs. They bombed an area, and it turns out that the people that were, defending it, so to speak, before the Russians could liberate it, that part of Kursk, it turns out they were British, and it was like a large group, and they still didn't release on how many people there actually were there, but it was at least 40 Brits, and one lived. So I don't know, what are they saying? At least 39 of them were killed, and part of it was probably in the what do they call it, mop-up operations or something afterwards, when they go in with the little guns and try to take the rest of the place. They found out that in Great Britain, when they're having to say what happened to these soldiers, apparently they're saying that they died in some other place, somewhere else, and instead of where they actually did die. So apparently they know that, I guess. The Russians, maybe some intelligence or people reporting. Yeah, so they're lying to the people, the family and friends over there. Yes. Wait a minute. Where am I at here? But anyway, Russia's been talking a lot about a lot of foreign soldiers present in the special military operation on the side of Ukraine, of course. There's some, of course, for, Russia, but it's, Russia, I don't think is even talking about it, I guess, but the West is always bragging. And mainly the soldiers are coming from Poland, France, the UK, and Colombia, some from the United States. I remember at the very beginning there was a lot of them from the United States. And what I didn't mention lately is that they even put videos online. I'm sure they're taken off by now, but they had, I'm not sure if it was on, in those days I was looking at BitChute and some other places, but they had American soldiers and saying, we are already here, when people are talking about any troops going to Ukraine. And they had themselves filmed inside of Ukraine and said that they were already there. These were young people, so I don't really know what their deal was. They certainly weren't special forces, and one was a young lady and one was a young guy, and they had their nice, beautiful uniforms, and it was definitely some sort of a place that was a, Soviet Union-ish type of architecture or something in the background. You only saw a little bit of that, so I have no idea what that was all about. And but as far as some guy watching me over here, interested in whatever I'm doing. I don't know. Where can I walk? This place is kind of boring here. Want a bike? Let's see. But anyway, you want to talk about like some of the people that are, or soldiers that are there. You have, say, the Koreans. They're invisible, as you all know. I mean, we heard from Zelensky's mouth, and I think from politicians in the United States and the news people. And Zelensky, he mentioned a number, I think 17,000, that there were 17,000 North Korean soldiers there. And I think somebody was offering some sort of a reward for the first one that they capture or something like that. And it turns out nobody was able to capture any, and it turns out, they're invisible, as I said, because nobody's ever found them. But the truth is, I think somebody said, oh, they've gone now, So North Korea sent all the way across Russia, probably a 2-day trip to that area, and then they stayed there for a few weeks, and then they went back to Korea. I guess that's what they're trying to make us believe. So that makes sense, doesn't it? I think it was even on CNN. They mentioned that. But I think the real thing is they have a cloaking device. I think they got it from the Romulans. We all know that there's a lot of aliens, and of course, the Romulans are helping the Russians, and in the U.S. they got the lizard people, and I think Sasquatches and Bigfoots and all that, they were supposed to go to the special military operation too. But somehow I don't know what happened to them. I guess maybe they had something better to do. So, But I believe some people are saying they put the Loch Ness Monster in the Black Sea. So, I mean that makes more sense, doesn't it? Not going to fight on land. That's ridiculous. So, anyway, if you guys heard about how they took Susa, the town of Susa, and I guess there was a few reasons why it was successful, the military operation at least, in that town, and maybe in general why they're going to lose in Kursk altogether. One reason is because Ukraine is not able to supply these people. And of course, a lot of soldiers have been putting that out, maybe with food, ammunition, weapons, all sorts of stuff like that. So that's one reason. Also, they had an operation. This was pretty amazing. It's probably stuff for the movies. I can bet they're going to make a movie out of it. But one thing that they did is there was an old used pipeline, gas pipeline, used, meaning it's not in operation anymore. And they sent 800 soldiers through that, 15 kilometers. I think it's 1.5 meters high, so they're bent over, walking through this, 800 soldiers, and they were able to get to a point where they could attack the forces in Susa from the rear, so that they had a two-front war. They were a double assault, one from the front and one from the back, and probably a lot of them left. I don't know how many were destroyed. Probably a lot of them were eliminated. So anyway, yeah, interesting. Maybe you can find that somewhere. But they were trying to get this so that the whole point about them getting Kursk, the Ukrainians said, is to get them in a stronger negotiating position. And obviously it's not working. And here they're coming down to the negotiations and they're losing Kursk. Doesn't look good. It's not a good look. Yeah. But this thing about the ball is in Russia's court. The whole thing about that is they believe that they've got Donald Trump and the Russians. Putin did it all at the same time. They got them. They believe that they got these people cornered. In other words, whose court is it in after all anyway? So what they do is they have this ceasefire, this hope for this ceasefire coming, and the ceasefire, of course, it doesn't benefit Russia at all. It only benefits, for the first part, Ukraine, because it gives them time to regroup. And as you see, what the plans are is to build this big, huge military in Europe. And the ceasefire is supposed to only be for 30 days. But I believe one reason why Trump wants the ceasefire is so that he can get people in to assess the value of a lot of these minerals and maybe even start sending crews in. And then he also wanted to send in protection for these crews, and they don't want the fighting going on because that'll put their people in harm's way. So that's one reason why they don't, they want the ceasefire. And they think they've got Trump fooled, but by Trump thinking, okay, well, we'll see who is ambitious about having peace and who is not ambitious. And he was already saying many times he doesn't think that Zelensky is at all wanting a peace, or maybe he is just alluded to that or said, well, he has to prove something. I have no idea, or maybe other people have been saying it. So let me get out of these. I like people sitting here listening to me. Got something in their ears. Everybody's got earplugs anyway. Earbuds. Buds. That's something when you're growing. Plants are growing. By the way, right now we're walking. See, I'll tell you, this is Nezavisty mostly 17. And guess what? This is the KGB building, so be quiet. Wait, I'm not supposed to film this, am I? Oh, that's terrible. People gonna be planting flowers, I presume. CIA agent or KGB agent right there. this guy. They're always dressed in black, by the way. Anyway, I shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff. Beautiful building, one of the most beautiful, huge, massive stuff. One of the most beautiful buildings in Minsk. I think that's a restaurant over there. But this entrance is not ever used. Love those columns. Look at that, and the Corinthian designs, the Corinthian capitals on the thing there. I could go up to the door. Maybe I'll go up to the door. Show you guys that I can do this. I'm gonna get arrested. They're gonna attack me. Oh, look at that. What does that say in there? What are these letters? K something B. Anyway. Oh, they're gonna come after me and get me. So, okay. So, I can't use it. Okay, the ceasefire. I talked about the ceasefire. And as you know, they have already a lot of weapons in Ukraine. I mentioned that a few days ago, and I think it was Peskov was one of the people that put that out. They have enough weapons to last a long time. And of course, they want to send much more in, and the ceasefire would be cover, obviously, to flood the weapons in there. And they're trying, there's megalomaniacs. You got Ursula von der Leyen. You even got Lindsey Graham over there. I don't know, not that he's going to be personally sending any weapons, but he's part of it. All of his donors, basically, all of the top donors at least, are all military-industrial complex people. He's big in the MIC. MICKEYMOUSC. No, he's big into the MIC anyway. But they're trying to put Putin and Trump into like a catch-22, where we can't do this because of that. And but the ball is in Donald Trump's court. So if Donald Trump knows that that's the whole idea of what is going on now, this big bunch of these little tricks, and that's why they're so happy. Zelensky is happy. Matter of fact, Zelensky even said the ball is in Russia's court. It really makes you wonder. Well, who's writing for these guys? I mean, who's the one calling the shots? Who makes up this crap? It's just unbelievable. But I don't know. You can say it's sort of a juxtaposition, catch-22. Catchwords in Russia's court, all that kind of crap. Should we start walking back? Probably cross the road. I don't have any idea. But it makes you wonder if Russia, they free the Kursk region, that puts them in a stronger position to say, okay, we agree to the ceasefire. But, and they can put some preconditions into that. Maybe one of the preconditions can be that if one bullet at all is fired at any of the residents of the Donbass area or any Russian soldiers, then the ceasefire is off. But of course, there's going to be, if you think about it, on the other side, on the Ukraine side, most of these people are just a bunch of Nazis, and they will not go one day without somehow attacking somebody who's ethnically Russian. They cannot do it. They just cannot do it. They're having a picnic, as the war goes on already. So, and there's going to be a lot of them doing that. So I don't know, but of course that will never be televised. So it'll look like Putin is the one that broke the ceasefire. Oh yeah. And you never know. Maybe France and maybe the UK, at that same time, they will want to put in some troops there. So the peacekeepers. They're innocent. It's just like when the West had the Russian peacekeepers killed back in 2008, before they invaded South Ossetia. Oh no, but that was the Republic of Georgia, or it was Russia. Russia invaded Georgia after that, because that was the territory that belonged to Georgia, which it wasn't. But anyway, that's, this stuff. It's just, the deal, man. But it's, all of this stuff. And that's why they're ecstatic, because they believe the Hate Russia Club has finally made a chess move, and it's gonna checkmate Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin both at the same time. It's going to be really interesting what happens. You know, who's going to make the choice? Is Russia going to say yes? Do they have a plan? Maybe not. I think Maria Zakharova, she just put out today, as a matter of fact, maybe 2 hours ago, in some press conference, or two people anyway, to reporters, that Russia is not going to accept anything less than a permanent solution. So whether she got that directly from Vladimir or not, I don't know. But, you know, just also, what is it, maybe an hour, 2 hours ago, Whitcliffe of the United States just landed in Moscow, flew from Riyadh to Moscow, and they're supposed to be talking with Putin to find out what the conditions are for a ceasefire, trying to talk Putin into doing the ceasefire, you know? So, I don't know what Russia's plans are. I guess we're not going to find out. Maybe tomorrow we'll find out. As I said, tomorrow is a full moon, and the next day, which is Saturday, is the Ides of March. So both of those together, we'll see what happens. That would be tricky if the 15th fell on, say, a Friday, you know, and the Friday the 13th and all that, but today's the 13th, so you never know. But a full moon, and wow, it's this kind of weird things at play now. Let's just see what happens. You know, the 15th of March, I guess that's when Julius Caesar was assassinated. So, and it's also in a play from Shakespeare. Yeah, that's the guy's name. Isn't that guy an actor? No, just kidding. But as you know, the big goal is to defeat the Russians. You know, the Hate Russia Club. Hate Russia, hate Russia. So, and they feed on it. That's what they feed on. Anything that can possibly have anything to do with hating Russia. These people are all into it. And these Hate Russia Club people, they will sacrifice anything. They will sacrifice their economies. They will sacrifice their people. As a matter of fact, you heard France and the UK, they wanted to send, I think what is the UK wanted to send 20,000, and France possibly even more. I don't know. How big are their militaries? Who's got the bigger percentage? And of course, you know, the Baltics, they desperately want to send people in there. You know, Poland is rabid too. And yeah, but they'll even have hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of their people killed as cannon fodder. You know, if they have to sacrifice 20 people to kill one Russian, they'll gladly do it. You know, it's a sacrifice they're willing to make. These rich, megalomaniac, politician types of people. Incredible. And they control the message. That's another thing I wanted to say. So anything that happens, it's going to be Putin's fault, maybe Trump's fault. And as you see what's going on right now, I don't know if it's US aid, but they're still shoveling lots of money around. So it makes you wonder, well, where is this money? Now it's still coming, it's still floating around. Jeez, you know? Yeah. So they won't have dirty reputations. That's mostly what I wanted to say about that is you know, they control the media, so they can clean their reputations with the media and say that they're pure as the driven snow. They're fair, they're good, and they're democratic, and they're gods. God. That's what they think they are. Ursula von der Leyen, the god of the EU, the goddess. ISIS. Wait a minute, ISIS, that's a terrorist group. Wasn't ISIS a god in Egypt and ancient Egypt? Anyway. So, actually that's about all I have, you know. Did I find anything else that I wanted to put out? There probably was, but I don't know. Maybe it was something like this Whitcliffe is gone and he's already landed in Moscow and all that. Lukashenko had flown to Moscow, and I guess they had some meeting, and I guess there's something good going on because they seemed like they were in a good mood. So look at, there's another KGB guy right there. You know, they want to see if anybody is looking at the building or something like that. They saw me, so the guy's walking past me, probably listening, see, but you know, he's going to hear English. So they're all dressed in black. It's really strange. So I'm not supposed to notice that stuff. Anyway, it's so they can recognize each other, you know, that who is possibly who and all that sort of thing. And another guy in black, but you know, it's a style too. So, but he doesn't look like one. Anyway, that's about all I have to say for now. You guys, thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Till then, bye-bye.